I am so excited for today's conversation. And my dear friend and client, Lea Grimaldi, is here today to talk to us on Rebel Radio about self-mastery. Welcome, Lea, to the show. Thank you for being here.
Thank you so much, Cindy, for having me. I'm so excited to be here.
Absolutely. So tell us a little bit about Lea. What makes Lea Lea?
Okay, well, I am an intuitive healer. I do Reiki and I do chakra balancing. I also teach fitness. I teach yoga and meditation. And pretty much my life's purpose, which I've just realized in about the last year, is to help other women like myself who have gone through various forms of anxiety, depression, low self-confidence, lack of speaking their truth, to help them to reclaim their power. And yeah,
so good. You know, I'm passionate about reclaiming power. I mean, that is one of the conversations we have here a lot at Rebel Radio. So I love that you're doing this work in the world. The world needs more of this work. So thank you.
You're welcome.
So who are you? I mean, you kind of alluded to who you are most motivated to serve and how you serve, but what makes you really passionate about showing up in service to that?
I feel like life happens for us and not to us. And I've come to this realization again over time, but everything, every misstep, every mistake that has happened, every misstep that I've taken has led me right here. And I want to show primarily women, but if men want to come along, that's fine too.
Right?
But primarily women, that it's possible to get through these anxious thoughts, these self-defeating, self-limiting behaviors, and find at the other side that there is light, there is abundance, and so much love. If we embrace our journey and really work with whatever we've been given, to look at these issues as challenges, and it's growth. It's a lifetime of growth.
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. It's all about that growth and really leaning into who we are and how we show up in the world. And yeah, I love that. So this conversation about self-mastery, I find that it's like the definition of success. Nobody really can define what self-mastery means. So I love to ask this question on every episode. What is self-mastery to you?
I believe self-mastery is being your authentic self. And for me, it's taken a long time, and I've had throat chakra issues. I've been a people pleaser, and trying to please everybody else, we lose sight of who we are. And in doing the work and realizing who I am and what my message is, just breaking through the fear of speaking it and putting myself out there. And it's challenging, but once you do and you really realize what your message is and who you need to speak with, it's like it just starts to flow. And then whenever anything is not aligned, it doesn't work.
Yes.
And right?
I can vouch for that.
And it's like, because I used to be one of those yes, like I would just say yes and, push down my own thoughts and feelings. And now, no. And inside me, it's like my body says no, my heart says no, and I can only be who I am.
Yes. Oh my gosh. I love that so much. And I love that you talk about the word flow. This is something that I've kind of been playing with in my own world and in my own business for the last couple of years. And when you hit that flow, it's like you can just lay back and float down the river. And even if you bump up against a rock, you just kind of got to push yourself to the side and you go right around it. It's so easy.
Yes. Exactly. Well, and also the other thing I've been working on a lot is just releasing the attachment.
Mm-hmm.
So even though, okay, I want something to go a certain way, but if it doesn't, it's okay.
Yes.
And I feel like that also has come into play a lot with COVID and with our current situation,
Mm-hmm.
because it's like anything can happen. We have no idea what is going to come, right?
Right. Yeah.
So if we're worried about it, we're only just spinning our own wheels, causing ourselves more stress.
Yeah.
So, okay, I'd like it to go this way, but if it doesn't, it's okay. And even just saying that releases you and
Yes.
allows you to be in the flow.
Oh, I love that so much. So how has this self-mastery process, how has it really supported you as an entrepreneur?
Well, I actually wrote a book in
I have a
Peace with
copy.
Peace. Yes, I sent it to you from A to Z, and it's a simple steps to find calm amid chaos. And it's a simple book that provides A to Z easy steps. A, affirmations. B, breathe. C, call a friend. And these are techniques that I use on a daily basis. And I sort of think of this book as a self manifesto, as well as a directory for stress relief, a mini directory.
Mm-hmm.
Because these are the processes that I used to get through stress and anxiety and sometimes depression without using medication. And no aspirations about anyone who takes medication. Sometimes it's absolutely necessary,
Mm-hmm.
but it was something that I wasn't comfortable, and I was on medication for a little while and I just didn't feel like myself.
Mm-hmm.
And so this book sort of encompasses all of the natural techniques and strategies that I use to work through those anxious feelings when they arise. And I do them on a daily basis, whether it's exercise or grounding. And grounding is huge right now, as you know. Go outside, stand on the grass. And because the energies, everything is just so so wild right
Mm-hmm.
now,
Wild is a good word. I
right?
like that word.
I was trying to think of a good one that's not.
I feel like I'm kind of embracing the wild with my zebra back print right now. And
Yes, exactly.
if
Exactly.
it's going to be wild,
I
I'm going to
love
join it.
it. Jump right in.
Right. So here at Rebel Radio, we are passionate about activating wealth for entrepreneurs. But wealth is a word that can be hyper triggering for a lot of people. So I'm just curious, what does wealth mean to you?
Wow. Hmm. Okay. Well, wealth to me right now is abundance in all areas. So it's not just monetary, although that is certainly part of it.
Mm-hmm.
But also, I believe that health is wealth. I believe that an abundance of love is wealth, and our energy is currency as well. So when all cylinders are firing, I
Mm-hmm.
feel like abundance in all areas flows in.
Oh, yeah, I love that so much. I love that so much. Yeah, and it's wealth is about money. Absolutely, it's about money. I see so many spiritual healers, coaches leaving so much on the table. And it's as if they feel like we need to just be of service, except that God, universe, spirit, whatever you want to name that or label that, didn't give you your gifts for you to starve. And so that's why I'm so passionate about helping activate that so that you deserve to be wealthy, and so does everybody else on the planet. And so I think it's really important that we open up this conversation. And why not do that on Rebel Radio?
Absolutely. And it's interesting that you say that too, because I had been another part of my stepping into my power and authenticity is claiming my gifts and asking for compensation for sharing my gifts. I've been a Reiki master
Yes.
since 2014, and I give a lot
Mm-hmm.
out, and I enjoy doing that, and I like to do that. When I teach fitness, I usually put Reiki in the room.
Mhm.
And I had been posting for years, just putting free content out. And just in the last year and a half, I made it a real business.
Yes.
So becoming official. And this is also part of my process and my self-mastery as well.
Mhm. Absolutely. Wealth activation and self-mastery go hand in hand for sure. So, what is one truth that you wish every entrepreneur knew?
You have to be your authentic self.
Yeah. I'm catching a theme here.
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
You want a different one? Let me think of another one.
No, it's good. It's good. I love it. It's totally on theme. And it's something that I'm passionate about in my own work too, is with using quantum numerology, is showing people their code so that they know who they are. Because sometimes you're so programmed and told what you should do, and you need to go to school and get a good education, and you should be doing this and you should be doing that. But if you don't really know who you are at the core of your being, it can be really difficult. And so, yes, please be your authentic self. That's the most important piece. From there, everything else is, whatever you want to do from there.
Well, I also feel like there are so many in the online space. There are so many of different types of coaches and healers and mentors, and someone looking in who isn't connected with their heart and their real desires may look at someone else and just try to emulate what that person is doing.
Yeah.
But even if there is another Reiki healer, chakra balancer person who has all the on paper qualifications that I do, is not me. And we bring our own uniqueness into what we do. And that is what attracts.
Yes.
And that is what allows us to feel the fullness of joy and love and all the good things.
Absolutely. I mean, it's the energy behind it, not the modality of what you do.
Exactly.
Absolutely. So if you could share with our listeners, there's a lot going on in the world right now. I just heard yesterday there's a moth apocalypse in Vancouver right now. I don't know what that means.
It sounds like a sci-fi movie.
Right? There's moths invading Vancouver City. There are forest fires burning half of the United States down. There's COVID-19. There's political unrest. There's all of these things happening. And there's a lot of fear rising up, especially if you happen to watch mainstream media. So if you could share something with our listeners about what's going on and how to help navigate that, what would you share?
I would share that everything is shifting. Mm-hmm. The earth is shifting. Humanity is shifting. Collectively, we are waking up and we are realizing truths. And I believe it's all by design that we were forced into a shutdown. And if we haven't looked in the mirror and faced our truths and worked through our own issues that we need to work through, then this is going to be more difficult. If we can stay grounded and centered in our own energy, and as we said earlier, just roll with it and have a plan and put your good, positive, loving energy out into the world, but don't watch mainstream media.
You're right.
And trust your intuition. Trust what is inside. We all have an inner knowing, and it's just a matter of listening to it and getting still and focusing on it and accepting it. Accept and receive.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely. And I think that's important. Something you said about looking yourself in the mirror. I think that's really important because when we're in lockdown and not able to leave our house, and it's really easy to get sucked up in the news or the Netflix binge. I know of particular people who actually ran out of things to watch on Netflix. Not me, but I do know of people that did that. And it's it's really an invitation to turn off the noise.
Yeah.
Turn off all of the exterior stuff that is not of service. Don't turn off Rebel Radio, but turn off everything else.
Rebel Radio is service.
Right? And go inside. And even if Rebel Radio doesn't feel good, turn it off and go inside. Just close your eyes and take a deep breath. And one of my favorite things to do is actually place my hand over my heart and listen to the beat of my own heart.
Oh, I love that.
It's the best sound on the planet. And it brings you immediately back into resonance with yourself.
Yes.
Your authentic self. And then you can make decisions from there. And maybe you do go and Netflix binge from there, and that's okay.
Exactly.
But if you're just watching Netflix to distract yourself from what's going on, it can be really painful. So give yourself the gift of 5 minutes of just listening to the beat of your own heart first, and then go and do something else. But don't distract yourself. So many of us have been trained not to listen to that beating, and that beating is life. It's what makes us who we are.
Absolutely.
And we forget to listen. Yeah. What's one thing that you've discovered about yourself that you feel comfortable sharing with our audience? Tell us a secret about Lea.
Okay. Well, this is a new-ish discovery that I am clairaudient.
So
I'm not sure what I'm going to do with it.
Okay, so tell us what that means first for the listeners who aren't sure what that means.
Okay, so it means that I can hear things that aren't audible to my regular ears. So it's almost like there's second sight. It's almost like second hearing. And I sometimes get messages from people who have passed, and it's happened for years, but it was usually people that I knew or was connected with in some way. And it might be a friend's relative who has passed, who's just telling me they're okay and they want me to pass that message on. And so I would usually pass it on. Sometimes it comes up when I'm doing Reiki sessions and I'm working with someone's energy, and some of their loved ones may present, and I do ask their angels and spirit guides to be present for the sessions. But just recently, with all of this, with all of the shifting, it has become more, and I'm getting more messages as I'm working with clients. And so I've realized, as part of my finding my voice and working through my throat chakra issues, that this is a gift. And it can help my clients. And if it brings them some peace to know that their loved one is okay and is with them, then I have to share it. Whereas in the past, I think there was fear of breaking through and claiming that gift. And more, I'm just receiving more downloads and more information and guidance that I need to share these gifts.
Yes. Oh, I love that. And it's so authentic. And it's for those of our listeners who maybe don't have experience with the clairs, there's several different types of clairs, and there's several different ways of channeling information through the quantum field. Angels and all of those pieces, I speak of it in quantum field science. You speak of it in spirit guides and angels. To me, it's the same thing, right? Yeah. I like to bridge the gap between the science and spirituality of things. Right. But it is really the same thing. And every single human on the planet has the ability to channel in some way, shape, or form. That's the way we're designed as electromagnetic beings. And so I love that you expressed that truth on Rebel Radio. Thank you.
First time.
I love it. I always bring out truth on Rebel Radio. So good. So, Lea, I want to thank you so much for being on the show. It's been an absolute pleasure having you here today. And as always, we end the show with one last question. What do you dream of for the world?
Oh, peace and love and inclusion for everyone.
I love
and
that.
thank you so much for having me.
Absolutely. Thank you for being here.